Rosetta Stone, Michael Thomas, Babbel, Duolingo. Long ago, the 4 language programs lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when Ikenna came up with his own idea for a brand new fire app. Guys, I'm wearing my Nigerian clothes. You know this is gonna be a serious video. By now, you have heard the news, you've read the title. It's official. I am creating my own language app and I couldn't be more excited. I am very thrilled and I also kind of need your help, but that will come a little bit later. So how did this all get started? Why am I developing my own app? Who am I creating it with? And what is the app gonna be like? Let's get into it. Several months ago, I created a video called Why Most Language Learning Programs Don't Work, where I talked about how most language learning programs are either fun or they are effective. Sometimes they're neither, and they are never both. And I shared my vision of what the ideal app would look like. Something that would be extremely effective but yet fun and addicting enough for you to actually stick to. Something that had a community that could help motivate you and could serve as a place for you to easily meet friends who are also learning the same languages. So I threw that vision to you guys and you guys responded so positively. It was insane. Like literally half of the comments were, you should create that app, you should create that app, or it was, you should find a developer who could help you turn that app into a reality. And that's exactly what happened. So a while ago, I was contacted by this guy who has his own app development studio and his own team. He actually watched that video that I made and he went through the comments and he saw people saying, oh, you know, Ikenna really needs to partner up with a developer. And he was like, I'm a developer. And he agreed with what they were saying. So he reached out to me. I get a lot of emails, so I'm skeptical most of the time, but I saw that this dude actually had a lot of experience. I saw that his studio has worked for billion-dollar companies before, and I saw that he also was a language learner that was very frustrated with the current apps out there, especially Duolingo. And I agreed to call him. We hopped on the call and we instantly clicked. And from there, everything is history. We've been working on brainstorming features and prototyping ever since. Here, sit down with me, sit down with me. So normally when people create apps, they usually keep it secret until it launches. Usually founders don't really talk about the app that they're creating and the features and all that until it's actually out. However, while we can come up with cool features on our own, we figured that 300,000 heads are better than 2. So we want to get you guys involved. We want to create an app for the community, and we want the community to play a big part in actually creating that app. If you've ever had an idea that you'd be like, oh, if this app added this, it would be so cool, or if they created an app like this for language learning, it'd be so cool. Now is your time to shine, because we are listening. So, what have we came up with so far? Well, I very much hope, okay, that you stick around to the end of the video because I am going to need your help with something. But here's an overview of how we plan to structure the app. I have identified 3 things that are very, very key when it comes to learning languages. If you ever want to reach fluency, whether that's conversational fluency or normal fluency, you're gonna need these 3 things, and they are extremely important. The first is vocab, building up a big vocab. The second is getting a lot of experience creating sentences, and the third is pronunciation. So the aforementioned 3 things are very, very important. But what is the most important out of those 3? It most likely is vocab, because without vocab, you really can't do anything. If you really just don't know words, you're lost. So therefore, I came up with the idea that 2020, this year, will be directed towards creating an app that really specializes at vocab, really focuses on vocab. Something that is the most effective vocab booster out there. I want you to be able to become conversational quicker with this app than any other app just because of the sheer amount of vocab that you're going to learn and also retain. So initially, the app is going to revolve around flashcards and spaced repetition, but it's going to be done in a very, very cool way. Think of Anki, right? It's very effective, but the design is kind of 1990s. We want to create kind of like an Anki 2020 version, right? Something that is super modern, that is super clean, with a cool, fresh design, and with some features that make it the most effective vocab learning app, bar none. So this is where we need your help. My partner and I have come up with some really, really cool features that could be in the initial version of this app. However, we want to know which features you are the most excited about. So In the description down below, there's going to be a link and you can vote for the features that I'm about to describe, and you can click all the ones that you would really want to see in a language learning app. So go in that description right now, click on that link, and let me tell you the features that we're planning on, and be sure, please help me out, vote on them, because I really want to see what the community is the most excited about. And then after this, I'm going to need your help with something, one more thing. So the features are as follows. Let me stand up for this. So, feature number one is Netflix integration. So basically, for Netflix videos that have at least the subtitles from the original language and also the subtitles in English, basically it's going to show you both subtitles at the same time. And if it shows you a word that you don't really know, or you want to kind of learn more, you want to memorize, you can simply scroll over that word, you can see the definition, and you have a button that allows you to add it directly into the app that we're creating. So any word that you come across in your Netflix shows, you can instantly add to our flashcard app, and you can review it at a later time. So the second feature is YouTube integration. So this would be really cool, be like a Chrome extension or something, where whenever you're watching YouTube videos that have at least subtitles in their original language, let's say you're watching something in Chinese and it has Chinese subtitles, it would be able to instantly translate what is being said. And in addition to that, it would allow you to hover over words that you don't know that you want to add to your deck, and just like the Netflix thing, it would allow you to add words directly into your flashcard deck, which would be very, very cool. At least that's what we think. Third feature is voice adding cards. So you have the superpowered smart flashcard deck. Whenever you add a new word, it's like you're never gonna forget it because of how the app's gonna work. However, you already probably forget a lot of words. Think about all the times where you're out with a friend who speaks the language that you're learning, or you're having a italki lesson and your teacher teaches you something. They say, oh, actually, no, chopsticks is hashi. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then 2 days later, you've completely forgotten it. And you know, you can write down every single new word that you learn while you're talking to people, but it's a bit of a conversation killer. It's like, hey, yeah, so this new word means this actually. Okay, cool, 1 second. It's very inconvenient to do that. So I had the idea of having words that you can add to your flashcard deck with your own voice. So for example, you're in a conversation with your friend, he says, oh, actually the way to say friends in Japanese is tomodachi. And you go, oh, tomodachi, okay, 1 second, tomodachi. And then it instantly pops up the definition, an example sentence, etc. You can just double tap, add it to your deck. Very simple, but very useful, so you never forget any of the words that you come across in your conversations. The fourth one is an essential language deck. So this will be like a hand-picked deck of maybe like 300 words or 500 words that you absolutely need to know in order to start having conversations. It's going to be very specifically tailored towards conversations. So you go through this deck, you memorize the words in this deck, and afterwards you are able to have conversations. We're thinking about doing that for every single language that we carry. Number 5 would be specializations. This is very cool. So one of the problems with a lot of apps is that you have to follow this huge course before you can actually learn the things that you want to learn. We had the idea of, how about allowing the user to specialize? For every language there can be maybe like, at least to begin with, like 10 different subjects. One could be business, one could be traveling, one could be food, one could be art, one could be sports. So essentially you'd be able to specialize in certain areas that you are actually interested in. So if you really like business, you can go over to the business deck. Maybe there'll be like 500 different business words in there, and you can add some of those words to your main deck for review. And then you are interested in sports and you can go over to the sports deck. I feel it's a much better approach, giving people the power to learn what they want to learn right away. Obviously you can go through the whole beginner kind of course thing, but if you're interested, there are a bunch of different subjects that you can learn the words of, which I think could be quite useful. Pods are very cool. So essentially from the home screen, you're able to join a pod. And all pods are user created. They are essentially, think like clans and Call of Duty or guilds in World of Warcraft, where everyone can create their own pod if they want to. They can create a pod for their location. You can say the New York City Spanish gang, or you can create a pod for your specific friends group, or even schools could create pods or whatever of their students. So basically, pods acts as kind kind of a kind of fancy group chat of people who are also learning the same things that you're learning. And within your pod, you can compete against each other with weekly vocab challenges. And outside of your pod, you can compete with other pods or other groups in monthly app-wide challenges. So, you know, there's a little bit of competition. So the next feature is listening to your flashcards on the go. So let's say you're driving to school, or you are cleaning or whatever, and you're busy, right? But you still want to be reviewing the words that you're trying to learn, the words that you're trying to study. Well, with this, you can do that. And I think it'd be very cool because I haven't seen any other apps that just let you listen to the words that you're trying to learn constantly. The eighth feature is a translate tool. So when you go into the app and you want to add a new word, or if you're just like, how do I say this? Essentially, you'll be able to translate it and instantly add it to your card, which makes it much easier. With our app, we can have that. So, you know, you're learning Spanish, and then you're like, oh wait, how do I say to work? Then you go in the app, you put in to work, you see trabajar, and you can add that directly to your deck. Very simple. The definition will be instantly added to your deck, and also an example sentence, and you can even add a picture. The last feature is like a Tinder bottomless deck kind of thing. There might be a deck of cards full of very useful words, like the most useful words in the language, and whenever you're bored, you can kind of go to this deck, and you can swipe right if you want to add a word to your deck, or you can swipe left if you don't want to add a new word to your deck. So it's kind of like a really fast way to learn useful new words. So for example, if you are really interested in soccer and you're going to this deck and you see, oh, kick, okay, cool, game, okay, imagination, not so much. Just a little fast way to learn new words. I thought it'd be interesting. Let's see what you guys think. Those are the 9 features, guys. Please go vote. Tell me which ones are your favorites. You can vote for multiple ones, by the way. It would really help us out in terms of knowing what to build first and what the community actually wants. But aside from that, I want your recommendations. If you have any cool features that I did not talk about that you're like, oh bro, you gotta add this into the app, or some features that you've always wanted in a language learning app, please let me know. Even if it isn't in line with the whole flashcard system. Like I said, the flashcard thing is just kind of for the beginning. Eventually we will expand to like really cool like sentence construction, some mini games. It's gonna be really legit, but in the beginning we're focusing on vocab. If your recommendation isn't that, it's fine. Just recommend and whatever ideas that you have, let them shine. You can either submit them in the form that's in the description where you can vote, it's right underneath, or you can just leave your ideas in the comments and other people can go and like the ideas in the comments that are the coolest. So guys, thank you so much. I know it's a long video. I am extremely excited, I'm extremely passionate, and I want to create something that can really change the world of language learning and help as many people when it comes to actually going from zero to being able to speak another language, whether that be conversational or fluent. Thank you guys so much for watching. Fire Nation out. Bye bye.